Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? AZD here with another second stimulus check update and second stimulus check news and what's going on in Washington, D.C. Now, recently, unfortunately, we lost a Supreme Court judicial judge. Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away, and right now it's a whole mix-up going on in Washington, D.C., trying to decide whether or not the current president, President Trump, should be the one to nominate the next Supreme Court judge to replace her. Recently, President Trump has nominated Judge Amy Barrett as a nominee in order to replace Supreme Court Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG. A lot of people in the Senate are not happy about that because they're saying, like, well, it's an election year and you're the sitting president, and you I believe already placed two judges, so just leave it until after the election, then they can decide, okay, we can go ahead with the nomination based on who had won the election. And other things, COVID-19 is kind of seeing an increase in some states. Over 20 states have seen an increase in COVID-19 over the past couple weeks. So with that said now, and it being different words and different news and different talks about it might be another surge of the pandemic. For example, some countries in Europe right now are preparing to probably do another shutdown because they're starting to have more numbers increase. So with that news coming out, a lot of grocery stores are starting to stockpile on a lot of items, many items that's necessities, including some things such as toilet paper, paper towels, Clorox wipes, Lysol wipes, the different necessities that a lot of people was like going after when the first pandemic was hitting. When the first round of pandemic was hitting, people was, grabbing up the paper towels, the toilet papers, the toiletries, the cleaning products, the Lysol, and different things like that. So right now, a lot of grocery stores are starting to stockpile up on those things, so they won't have a shortage of it in case there be another second surge or another surge of the pandemic with the fall season, the flu season coming up. Now let's talk about stimulus package. What's going on with the new stimulus proposal? That's right, it's not even a stimulus package yet. It's another proposal that's getting put up by the Democrats. And what's happening is they're not really going to go with the problem solver caucus. Right now, Nancy Pelosi and some Democrats are going to go back to the table, and they're going to work on another proposal, $2.4 trillion. But in addition to what's going on with the second stimulus package, we also got to think about what's going on with the leftover money, because come to find out, there are leftover money from the last stimulus package, the CARES Act, and there's a good amount of money left over from the CARES Act, and it's about $130 billion still available in the PPP program funding, and also in the PPP program, which also like the mainstream lending program and things like that. Now, it's estimated that about $300 billion in total, of unused money from the CARES Act is just there idle. It's just nobody's even using. It's just there idle. From the last package, and Larry Kudlow, White House Chief of Staff, is trying to repurpose the funding of the leftover money from the CARES Act and provide stimulus. So with the last stimulus program, you could say the last stimulus program for stimulus check direct payment to people was around $300 billion. Now, looking at the numbers, the total number of money that's left over from the CARES Act is about $300 billion. So if you look at that money, you could say, hey, they could have been cutting another stimulus check right away and worry about the rest of the stimulus package, because a lot of people really do need another stimulus check, another direct EIP payment of $1,200 or better. Also, another example, for the last executive order for unemployment payouts, that cost about $44 billion for the unemployment payouts, through the FEMA, where different states had to apply. Then some states have from 4 to 6 weeks a payout of $300 each week, and some states even added an extra $100 on that, so it was $400 each week. So for that executive order right there, the funding for that was about $44 billion. So to come to think now, we have about $300 billion left over, so we could have been funding the unemployment along with more stimulus check. So right now, we are also looking for details from the Democrats, the new stimulus proposal from Nancy Pelosi and her team. And right now, a lot of Democrats was trying to say, okay, we want to discharge Nancy Pelosi of her position of leadership of the House of Representatives. That was saying last week when it was kind of no agreement, nothing, no common ground going on. So right now, the majority of the Democrats are letting go of the discharge position, and they're not going to be signing that petition anymore because they believe Nancy Pelosi have some plans, and she's also working more towards more negotiation and trying to find a common ground. They were going to forcibly get her out of there. Forcibly, they had petitions ready, they had letters ready, they was ready to sign and get it out of on the way to in order to get Nancy Pelosi, because a lot of them were saying, hey, Nancy Pelosi is not moving on the stimulus package. We have the problem solver caucus came up with this great deal, but she's still not budging on it because she wanted the 2.2 to 2.4 trillion dollars, because she believed that the problem caucus stimulus package, it was a good proposal, but it still wasn't covering everything. So she really wants to go to the 2.2, 2.4, and the White House is kind of saying, okay, Republicans, let's work something out. Let's kind of work something around that $2.2 trillion, $2.0 trillion. So a lot of the Democrats now decide they're not going to go with that. They're going to back Nancy Pelosi because they was kind of scared of, returning back to their home state and trying to returning back to the home state and campaigning for the election. And they're saying, okay, they're going to campaign for the election, but at the same time, there's no word of any stimulus package, any stimulus checks, any money for unemployment, any money for renters assistance, or anything like that. So a lot of Democrats were like, okay, well, Nancy Pelosi, you got to make a move. But right now, they're seeing that she's making a move. She's willing to work with Mnuchin and try to find some common ground. And right now, we're waiting on this $2.4 trillion stimulus package proposal, and hopefully we can reach it. And hopefully we can get this proposal and work some details out with Mnuchin, and Mnuchin can agree with it, and the White House can agree with it in order to create a bill out of it, so then it can go on to the Senate, and maybe the Senate can also vote off on it. In politics news, a lot of things been coming out saying that Donald Trump, and I believe the New York Times or something, some newspaper has some documents of Donald Trump tax returns, and saying that he's basically paying nothing on taxes, and he also creating GOP laws that making the rich get richer and benefiting his rich friends. So we're gonna see how that works out with the more details come out with that. In other news, there are more cases. COVID cases are rising in some states, not in all states, but in some states, COVID-19 is starting to rise again, and also other countries such as in Europe. In other news, the stock market is going up, maybe because there's words that Nancy Pelosi and Mnuchin is probably going to come up with some kind of agreement and work some deal out for the stimulus package. So the new stimulus package proposal, we're going to wait for that, and we're going to be having some hopes that the White House will kind of come to some common grounds and meet with Nancy Pelosi on that one, and it will be able to move through real quickly and swiftly. What to expect of the new proposal? Well, we should expect some kind of form of stimulus checks, direct EIP stimulus checks to the people, unemployment payments, money for the PPP program funding, which is kind of needed, but at the same time, they needed to use the money that's already there. So let's start dispersing that money that's already there. Money for renters, schools, vaccines, testing and tracking of COVID, and also other details, probably money for state and local government. So right now, we're waiting on to see how the proposal and how the proposal is going to work out and what's the details of it. If Pelosi and Mnuchin can come to agreement with this new proposal, then the president and the House Majority Leader, maybe the president and Nancy Pelosi and also Chuck Schumer and also McConnell can start to get to their party and encourage the parties to agree on this new proposal, so it can go through the party, so it can get created as a bill, so the House can vote off on it, so the Senate can vote off on it. And of course, if the White House agree on it, then it would be no problem with the president signing off on it. So right now, we need a new plan. We need an agreement with the new plan with the White House, and then we can put into a bill, and then we can put it to a bill so we can get it voted off of. So basically, right now, we're just waiting on Nancy Pelosi, Mnuchin, waiting on Nancy Pelosi and his new proposal, and then hopefully her and Mnuchin can work something out, and we'll have something on the table to get voted on and signed on. With that said, as we wait, let's check out the first presidential debate, which will be coming up on Tuesday, September the 29th. So In the meantime, while we're waiting for those stimulus package proposal details, let's check out the presidential debate and continue to be safe. Once again, it's Ainsley D. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please like, comment, and share. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this week is going to be a lot of details and a lot of news coming out about the second stimulus package, the stimulus checks, proposal, and a lot of more words on the election. So once again, it's Ainsley Dawkins. Continue to be safe. Peace.